Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Reduce your ping time, get faster speeds when you game at expressvpn.com/inside. Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's weekend roundup time. Guys, is EA pushing FIFA players to spend money on loot boxes in the game? I know. I can't believe it. Short answer, yes, they are. But now it is kind of on the record, thanks to some internal documents that were recently leaked to the CBC. This is really interesting, mainly because, we can all assume that this is the case, but these documents are very telling. One specifically talked about FIFA Ultimate Team. That's, of course, where you spend real money for player cards. And the document said, FUT is the cornerstone, and we are doing everything we can to drive players there. Yeah, so they're not really hiding it. Another leaked page from the document contains the line, all roads lead to FIFA Ultimate Team, and reveals EA's plan to funnel players towards FIFA Ultimate Team from other modes in the game. Now that's interesting, funneling them towards FIFA Ultimate Team to spend, of course, real money. Now, the document was leaked by an insider who said that he and others he knows who work on video games don't feel good about projects that include loot boxes. The insider said, "We can't really do anything about it because at the end of the day, the company is trying to make money and satisfy investors." You know what? But you can leak a bunch of stuff to the media, so we salute you, insider. EA, this won't surprise you, denied the report, calling it a sensationalized story with a misrepresentation of the facts. They gave a huge statement to Eurogamer. In part, EA said, "We always look for opportunities to introduce more players to modes in our games." Yeah, I'll bet you do. "Our FIFA players are expecting fresh content that makes the service exciting, so that's a constant focus for us." They also said they don't push people to spend money in their games, saying, "Where we provide that choice, we are very careful not to promote spending over earning in the game, and the majority of FIFA players never spend money on in-game items." Okay, so again, that's what they're saying publicly, but the documents internally tell a much different story. It's always worth looking at the real driving force behind all this, the money, because FIFA Ultimate Team makes EA a lot of money. As analyst Daniel Ahmad pointed out, in fiscal year 2020, Ultimate Team alone, this is just Ultimate Team, by itself brought in almost $1.5 billion in net revenue for EA. And while Ultimate Team, of course, has been a moneymaker for years and years, it was especially huge in 2020. That's because during the pandemic lockdowns, revenue was, quote, off the charts, according to EA executives. So they can say whatever they want publicly, but the reality is Ultimate Team is a massive moneymaker for them. Just look how vigorously they defend it in countries that try to ban it. The insider who leaked the documents was quoted as saying that for years, EA, quote, has been able to act with a layer of plausible deniability. They added that yet in their internal documents, they're saying, "This is our goal. We want people driven to the card pack mode." Ultimately, again, is this news a surprise? Absolutely not, but it's good to have some documentation of EA admitting it, even if they aren't publicly. All right, we're going to get to the rest of the news in just a second. But first, guys, let's talk about our sponsor, Honey. You know, the joy, the euphoria of buying what you need from your bed, in your pajamas. You know what's even better, though? Saving money with the perfect coupon code, thanks to Honey. Honey is the free online shopping tool that scours the internet like an algorithm pirate searching for buried promo codes. And then Honey just applies the best ones to your cart automatically. Man, I've used Honey. I buy all kinds of stuff online. I buy stuff for my beard. I buy hair care stuff because I gotta look beautiful online for you guys. Promo code, boom, it adds it automatically. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online for everything from clothing to tech, gadgets. They found their members over $2 billion in savings. If you don't already have money, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and you'll be supporting this show. I'd never recommend something I don't use. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/inside. That's joinhoney.com/inside. So save money with Honey. You like that? It rhymes. That means it's awesome. Honey. Thank you very much, Honey. Now, on to the rest of the news. It looks like Naughty Dog has plans for a third Last of Us game. Well, kind of. They have a rough sketch. This comes from director Neil Druckmann, who talked on the Script Apart podcast about about the writing of The Last of Us Part 2. That's where he kind of got into a possible sequel. Basically, he said they've written a story outline for a Last of Us Part 3, but they are not making the sequel right now. Specifically, he said, I don't know how much I want to reveal. Co-scriptwriter Hallie Gross and I did write an outline for a story that we're not making, but I hope one day can see the light of day. That explores a little bit what happens after this game. We'll see. Druckmann said there's been quite a bit of discussion internally about a Part 3, but obviously these big AAA games take a lot of time, years and years, so it's not coming anytime soon. All right, moving on. First-party games like Last of Us 2 were the key to the PlayStation 4's success, and Sony says it's going to continue with that strategy. In a conference call with investors recently, Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki said they will aggressively invest in in-house studios as well as partner with external studios. They also want to enhance the social capabilities of their titles. I don't know what that means. Of course, Microsoft has gotten a lot of headlines for acquiring studios like Bethesda, but Sony, they've been making some moves. They bought Insomniac Games. They also recently invested in Haven Entertainment. That's the new studio from industry veteran Jade Raymond. Totoki also admitted that Sony has not kept up with the strong demand for the PS5. He blamed component shortages, obviously, especially semiconductors. Bad news, they're expected to continue in the current fiscal year. Still, they said their target is to exceed the 14.8 million units that the PS4 shipped in its second fiscal year on the market. So far, they've sold 7.8 million PS5s. So very strong. PlayStation at its best financial year ever. So they're doing great despite the shortages. All right, let's talk about Google Stadia. The best. If you're wondering why it's been such a disaster, this news item will shed some light on it. Stadia, the company founded by Google, has not had a search bar until now. Yeah, I don't get it either. It can't be that hard to build a search bar for 20 games. I'm just saying. But Stadia announced the big news this week, saying they got a new search bar for Stadia that will make finding your favorite games much easier. Or you could just scroll down like half a page and there are all your games. Awesome. They've also added an updated UI along with sorting your Stadia library, which will help keep track of all your games. Man, what's next? Are they going to work on a start button? Stadia. That thing has fallen so far. Remember 2 years ago, they were like, 8K streaming, 120 FPS, you're going to be playing with Martians on Mars. And now they're like, actually, we forgot about the search bar, but here it is. Have fun. Enjoy your games for 6 more months. All right, let's talk about GameStop. Now, you know this. You're all cool internet kids. Their stock price has been a huge story all year, with small investors driving up the price. Not surprisingly, that has been very good news for the struggling video game retailer. The company recently sold 3.5 million shares, netting more than $550 million. They said that the money will be used to help with GameStop's transformation efforts and for, quote, general corporate purposes and further strengthening the company's balance sheet. The stock price, of course, shot up earlier this year as part of the infamous short squeeze on Reddit. It's still pretty high. It was in the 170s when I checked this week. Not quite as high as it was in the glory days, but still pretty darn high. And now GameStop, they got a little extra cash to help turn things around. They've hired a growth officer to oversee the transition. They got a new chairman, the billionaire investor Ryan Cohen. The plan is to push rapidly into e-commerce, improve customer service, and expand their product offerings. So there you go. All right, time for a 5-second review. It feels a little weird to me taking pictures of Pokemon. Like, what if 2 of them are loving each other? Click, click, gotcha, boom. That's going up in my bedroom. All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. First up, the Colonists build a new home for your team of robots as they begin a new life for themselves on a distant planet where they can fulfill their ultimate dream to be human. It comes to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch May 4th. Next up, Demeo. RPG fans unite in virtual reality. A dark force has taken over the underworld in Resolution Games' upcoming RPG dungeon crawler Demeo, and it's a world you're not likely to survive alone. Okay, there you go. It comes to VR May 6th. Blazing Beaks. It's a roguelite where too much greediness can be fatal. A colorful world with armed birds blazing their way through piles of mutants, monsters, and creepy creatures. This sounds like a movie I used to watch on USA Up All Night. Shout out to Rhonda Shear. Lots of mysteries to unravel, secrets to discover, and levels to explore. It comes to the PS4 and Xbox One May 7th. The Invisible Hand. Want to get rich quick? Yes, I would. Welcome to Farius, where you'll be empowered to pursue wealth and success as a mid-level stockbroker. Your wildest dreams of wealth can come true at the cost of everything else. It comes to PC May 7th. And last up, a big one, Resident Evil 8 Village. Set a few years after the horrifying events in the critically acclaimed Resident Evil 7, the all-new storyline begins with Ethan Winters and his wife Mia living peacefully in a new location, free from their past nightmares. What could go wrong? I'll bet everything. Just as they are building their new life together, tragedy befalls them once again. It comes to basically everything: PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia, May 7th. That's all the news I got for you this week, guys. I hope you're having a great weekend. We'll see you soon.